Welcome to the internet. I'll be your guide, and today we are going to cruise down nonsensical lane, and there are going to be a lot of screaming SJWs on every single corner. That would be known as the Disney Star Wars fandom, because these people are out of their minds, and every single problem in their life, they have to blame someone, and that someone is the same person it usually is, Star Wars Theory. Why Star Wars Theory? Because he's the biggest voice in the Star Wars community. So of course, he's the one that they blame for all of their life's problems. It's really similar to what's going on with young Rippa right now and the Rippaverse and the indie comic scene, where anyone that isn't connected to the Rippaverse, they are blaming all of their problems on Eric. And it's the same thing we're seeing with Star Wars Theory right now. Disney Star Wars fans are melting down because it has become widely known that Disney Star Wars is a literal piece of garbage. Now, a lot of people have already known that, but the Acolyte has taken it to a whole different level. We have seen people that normally don't talk about this stuff really get involved with this. And of course, the more that these Disney Star Wars fans become desperate to cling on to any relevance from this dead franchise, they are becoming really angry and they are lashing out. And Star Wars Theory is the target of all of their anger. So we're going to react to this video from the great Drunk 3PO, who is closing in on 100,000 subs. We got to get him there, so subscribe to Drunk 3PO. He put a video here together that's really good. Let's take a look at it and see what's going on with Star Wars Theory. It says Star Wars Theory threatens legal actions for false accusations. The Acolyte episode 4 Backlash. Here we go.
Do not make these claims. I run, at this point, a very serious company who handles a lot of different jobs and tasks, and I do not appreciate the slander that you are throwing towards my company. If you continue to lie and purport that my company is sending you death threats or purporting my followers to send you death threats, we'll take legal action against you.
Some of you might be wondering what in the world is going on and how did we get here? Well, I'm going to explain everything to you in this video. It all starts with the Acolyte episode 4. But before I begin, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel. And if you're new here, why not subscribe? It's a free thing you can do
to Drunk
that
3PO.
Helps us out. I really appreciate it. So let me bring everyone up to speed. In the Acolyte episode 4, and if you don't know what's going on with that, you could check out my other video. I explained it all there. They introduced Keanu Monday. That's what I call him. You know, the Conehead Jedi from the prequels who says the Sith hasn't been around for 1,000 years. Well,
Keanu Monday is a name that we that was born on Geeks and Gamers Daily, because Jay being Jay, I think Keanu Monday is a fantastic name. And if we run with that, I think we can actually make some really good merch from that. Keanu Monday, Drunk 3PO. There you go.
That's just sent some shockwaves online. And the people that are enjoying the show, per se, are saying, you never cared about this character. Why do you care that he's in here? And why do you care, that some of the lore is broken? You guys just need to stop. Well, during Star Wars Theory's live stream, Wikipedia was literally changing his background, his date of birth, and everything to match what was happening in the Acolyte.
Now, with Wikipedia, they've been compromised for a long time. I mean, Wikipedia completely, you can't trust them at all. And they have shown their hand way too many times over the years, especially since Disney purchased Star Wars and things have gotten out of control. They have shown their hand. They have been completely compromised. They will do anything to stay in the good graces of the Disney overlords. That has been confirmed a long time ago, but this is a situation that it's hit such a different level that now they are finally being seen as the frauds that they are. And I'm really happy about that.
And while Theory was live to thousands of people, the chat was spiraling, saying, hey, go to Wikipedia. They changed it. They just changed it. And he went over there and checked it out for himself. This is where it gets kind of ugly. Wikipedia puts out a statement saying, we aren't going to mince words on this one. If your response to an editor adding a date to an article on Wikipedia is to tell them you hope they and their pets die, you are not a Star Wars fan. Hate like that has no place here, and you are not welcome in our community. Now,
A response like this is meant to get peak emotions out of you. That's what this is for. Do you think that I don't get hateful shit said to me every day? Do you think people on this team, the Geeks and Gamers team, don't get hateful shit said to them every single day? I just mentioned the Rippaverse. Look at all the shit that gets said about them. Like, you can take stuff and build a narrative if you want, and that's what Wikipedia is doing right here. They're absolutely trying to find something that can get the most emotional value from the general public. And of course, anytime you bring pets into it, people are going to go, oh, someone said something about your pet? That's terrible. Who would do this? Of course that's bad. Of course everyone's going to denounce that. Of course they are. Show us some proof. Let us see what was said and who said it. But when you make general statements and don't back it up with any facts whatsoever, then people are going to roast you on the internet because this is the internet.
Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying, like, I didn't find any proof. They didn't post any proof. So because they changed the date exactly right after the show to match the Acolyte, there were people online that were like, look, you're just covering for Disney Star Wars. You're just doing that, right? And they put out a statement saying, hey, we're getting death threats because we changed the date. Now that set off a whole bunch of other people in the Star Wars fandom, and they decided that, you know, we're going to put the blame on someone. You guessed it. They put the blame on Star Wars Theory.
Every single time.
Why? Because he's the biggest Star Wars YouTuber out there. He has the most influence, and he speaks his mind freely. If he likes something in Star Wars, he shares it. If he doesn't, he shares it. He's not controlled by the corporate. He doesn't get invited to Lucasfilm. He doesn't like get gift packages from Star Wars, you know? He does his own thing. That's why he's number one. And because he's not really liking the Acolyte, people are upset with him because they wanted him to fall in line. They wanted him to stand up and say, this is the greatest Star Wars ever, and he's not doing it. So he's the problem, and he is the biggest target, and you're not going to believe what these people are saying. Check this out.
It's wild. The shit that, and again, I bring the parallels to Eric up because it's just so accurate. Eric's the biggest person in the indie comic scene, and he gets all the hate. Theory's the biggest creator in the Star Wars fandom scene, and he gets all the hate. It's the same exact playbook.
I believe this is the tweet that started it all. This is Ash. She says, hey, tagged real Star Wars Theory. These are your people sending death threats with zero proof whatsoever. Time to rein them in. Condemn what they're doing. Time to put your money where your mouth is and back up your be respectful spiel you always say. You literally are saying that Theory says be respectful, like he always does in his...
That's what I was going to say. Like, she's admitting it. She's admitting that he says be respectful. If you're admitting that he says be respectful, how can he be to blame for the behavior of other people? Ultimately, it's the individual that takes the action that's responsible for the action, not someone else. This leftist propaganda nonsense of blaming someone else that has nothing going on with it other than they are the top dog, so therefore they must be responsible when someone else did something and you want to blame it on them. This is insanity. And the fact that this clown admitted that in the tweet is so fucking funny.
His live streams, in his videos, countless times, he always says, don't go after this person. Don't say anything to this person. Don't do that. Be respectful. Like what you like, dislike what you dislike. You literally said this in your second paragraph, that this is what Theory says. But now you want to control him and have him do something else because you made a accusation with no evidence whatsoever. And of course, she deletes it. You see that, you know, after she gets caught, she thought she did something here. She thought she did something really cool here, but she got caught. And we'll continue on with her. Check this one out. Now, Isabella doesn't tag Star Wars Theory, but everybody knows who she's talking about here. Building a platform by referencing Wikipedia daily to make lore videos and then turning on them, crying conspiracy, and inciting violence in the fandom because you don't like
Inciting insurrection.
an update to an article about an alien's lifespan is effing crazy. Inciting violence. This person just decided to throw that in there, and with zero evidence. No, it was weird that Wikipedia changed it right after the show to try to align themselves with Disney Star Wars. It was weird. And no, he wasn't crying about it. He caught them red-handed, and we all talked about it. He wasn't the only one. There were tons.
He was notified of it from his chat, if I'm not mistaken. His chat is the one that notified him of it, and then he highlighted it. But because he highlighted it, therefore he's responsible. My God, man. The mental gymnastics involved with trying to blame all of their problems in life on Star Wars Theory is freaking beautiful.
Tons of other videos out there about them changing it, but you decided that you want to say that Theory is inciting violence. The first response was, did he directly incite violence? With no answer. No answer. The person under there was just like, yeah, did he? You didn't answer that, did you? But you want to throw that out there. You did good, though. You did good by not specifically saying his name. But yeah. Remember that girl, Ash, that tagged Star Wars Theory? Well, Theory had enough, and he responded. He says, politely, F yourself. These aren't my people. Don't attach that to me, or there will be serious consequences for you. These are people on their own. Nothing to do with me. Please find where I have instructed people to send death threats to anyone. Quite the opposite. In fact, 8 years I've taken death and R threats to my past partners, poison threats to my mailbox, threats to my parents and animals, daily, nonstop. First for liking episode 9, then when I changed my mind. Where the F was anyone then? Where the F were you when I was being laughed at for crying to Luke Skywalker? You joined in. In fact, alongside Pablo and Lucasfilm taking jabs at me publicly. That's how it was handled. And I just had to take it, because that's what I do. Bullied as a kid for liking Star Wars, and then again as an adult.
Well said from Star Wars Theory. And again, big shout out to Drunk 3PO for putting a lot of this together, because there's a lot of good information here. And ultimately, yeah, I mean, his point is 100% valid. Like, we all get, if you have any relevance whatsoever, if you have any following, if you have any strong opinions, and even if you don't talk about things controversial, if you're on the internet and have any type of following, you're going to get all types of hate. That comes with the territory. It just is part of it. And when you want to sit there and take specific things and act like it only happens to you, you're being very disingenuous at that point, because it happens to everybody. It doesn't make it right. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that don't act like it's specific to you. There's no specific group that only gets hate. Everyone gets it. Now, some more than others, and that's just the nature of how things go, but don't act like you're the only one that gets it. And when it happens, if you actually drop some receipts and show who's saying it, at least that is much better than making these generalizations with no proof whatsoever, because you're only going to get clowned more when you do that.
Ash, after being called out, says, replies are locked. Theory saw it. Theory replied to it. It's over with. Do not attack Theory. Do not antagonize Theory. If you're not a fan of his, block and move on. And again, do not send death threats to Theory or anyone. It's time to move on. And then she deleted her post. Not one apology for assuming he did something wrong. Not one, you know what, I got this wrong, sorry about that. It's, he saw it, so now it's over with. Then Ash makes this weird video like, we gotta stand together in this tough time as Star Wars fans. Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, we are standing together, Ash. Star Wars fans are standing together like they've never stood before, and it's all due to the Acolyte, because right now it is sitting at a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, the worst thing we have ever seen in Star Wars, and it has unified the Star Wars fandom like never before. So you got your wish. We are all standing together in our hatred of the Acolyte and our hatred and disgust of the creative vision of Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. We all can't stand it. We are all unified. So thank you for calling for unity, and now you have that unity. Unified against the Acolyte. It's a beautiful thing. Brings a little tear to my eye, guys. We're finally getting the unity that we always wanted.
Seriously cringe. Like seriously. You started this and now you're playing victim. It's embarrassing. It really is. Maybe if Ash was keeping score, she would see that Theory gets mocked and bullied every single day on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. This post was put out June 18th. What are your thoughts on Star Wars Theory? And if you look at the quote tweets, it's some of the most disgusting, hate-filled rants that you could ever find. People calling him all kinds of names under the sun. People wanting him to self-delete, things like that. And he doesn't really respond. He just kind of lets it go. I know he sees that it's out there, but what can he do? But people like Ash assume that it's Theory, and all these other people. Listen, this video could be 2 hours long of all the stuff that I collected of people accusing Star Wars Theory of inciting violence to Wikipedia.
No one has caused more damage to the Star Wars community than Theory. What? Good Lord, man. Well, I'm not even going to get specific, but if you just look at that person's account, you understand they're not really operating within reality anyway.
But that ain't the kicker. That's not the kicker. The whole thing is because of Wikipedia. Get ready for this. A one Pete Fletzer, who runs Around the Galaxy podcast, who trashes Star Wars.
Bro, Around the Galaxy Pete is one of the most pathetic male feminists you will ever see. This guy is so miserable and so pathetic. I've actually had to make him apologize privately to women that are on the G&G team. And he did it. Of course, then he started hating again after he made the apology because he's that type of person. His projection is off the charts. This guy is miserable, and he lashes out at everyone because of his own misery.
Theory on his live streams and on social media at least every other day. Here's just one. This one's from June 18th, where he just, no matter what Theory does, Theory...
By the way, I will say that's a pretty funny picture that Pete shared of Theory. That's pretty funny. I laughed. I thought it was pretty funny.
Made a little joke video. It was funny. Everybody laughed. And Pete took it as a way to jab at him, to stab at him, which he does on a religious basis. You know, maybe someone should call Pete, you know, and tell him to stop. But no. Theory's the problem, right? So Pete decides to quote tweet Star Wars Theory's response to Ash. Pete, who has constantly trashed Star Wars Theory on his YouTube channel, his podcast, and on his social media, now has the nerve to quote tweet and say, you know, it's time that Theory uses his platform, his reach, and his influence to denounce the threats and the attacks. So now he wants to control Star Wars Theory, right? With the largest voice in the Star Wars community, simply casually covering his own butt with "remember, be respectful" doesn't cut it. Silence is endorsement. Are you freaking serious?
Silence is endorsement. Holy shit. That line has always been so funny to me. You want to talk about people being bullies and all of this shit, and you're literally trying to bully someone into giving the opinion that you want them to give by saying silence is endorsement. Oh my God.
Are you freaking serious, Pete? He says it. You literally put it in the tweet that he tells people to be respectful. But and now you're saying, wait. He says be respectful, but now he's silent. Make up your freaking mind. These people are... Sorry, I'm getting a little loud. It's not normal here.
Yell, Jay.
It's just
Yell.
aggravating because no matter what you do is never enough for these weirdos.
That is true.
It is never enough.
And it never will be enough.
Star Wars Theory could bow to this man's demands, and he will still never be satisfied.
Yeah, when you're dealing with people like this, it will never be enough, so there's never a reason to even try, because it's the definition of give an inch, take a mile. Once you try just a little bit, you've already lost, because people like this that blame someone else for all of their problems in life, once that person that they blame or obsess over, once that person tries to have any level of compromise, it's over. Because they see a weakness there that they can continue to try and manipulate and twist. So that's why you just don't try to talk with them or work with them at all, because they're not interested in that. They're not interested in compromise, conversation, or working to find a middle ground. They're not.
Until Star Wars Theory probably deletes all his videos, just completely removes himself from all social media and just never says anything again, maybe he'll be happy. The nerve of this guy, like I've said, who constantly trashes Star Wars Theory on a daily basis. Just go to his Twitter thread. That's all you got to see. Is now saying you need to do this because your silence is making you guilty. Well, I'm glad he quote tweeted that, because all that from the beginning comes around to this. Wikipedia responding to Pete says, it's telling that we didn't get any threats until immediately after he, meaning Star Wars Theory, told his followers to fix Wikipedia. The ones that came to vandalize the site from that are the ones we got the threats from. And there ain't no evidence on that. Star Wars Theory responds in a video he released on Twitter and his YouTube channel.
For the watch party, and you guys were spamming chat like crazy, like, check Wikipedia, they just changed it. And I did, and I reacted to it. I'm like, holy crap, they're actually changing it in real time with like no reason whatsoever, just because the show says so, and like changes everything like that. What was
It's amazing how Theory actually can have receipts to validate what exactly he's saying happened, when he shows his chat actually did what he said his chat did, and he shows receipts. Yet Wikipedia, Around the Galaxy, the Ash weirdo, like none of them show any receipts to back up anything they've said. All they do is say that it happened, but they can't back it up with anything. Pretty amazing how that works, isn't it?
Established for they had what they had written for however many years, and then they just boom, like that, change it on a show that really makes no sense and has no business putting Kiadi in there. So now, I guess because I'm making good arguments, they have a few psychos, a few assholes that are going around sending them death threats. And now their audience and they themselves are purporting that I am the one sending these threats. It is me, my responsibility, my fan base, my people. And I made a statement on X, on Twitter, that is erroneous, that is ridiculous. How many times do I have to make videos where I denounce this kind of behavior? I mean, if we're going to start measuring death threats, I think I take the frickin' prize for that one. Do not make these claims. I run, at this point, a very serious company who handles a lot of different jobs and tasks, and I do not appreciate the slander that you are throwing towards my company. If you continue to lie and purport that my company is sending you death threats or purporting my followers to send you death threats, will take legal action against you. Do not like that defamation. You are quite a big presence. You're not a little shrimp fry on Twitter with a couple followers. If you continue, I will file a lawsuit against you. I'm telling you right now. That being said, no, I do not condone death threats. I've never sent fans against.
Listen, obviously, I know Star Wars Theory. I actually was speaking to him on the phone yesterday. I've known him for years. And as a friend, I will say, like, even, like, watching him over the years, like, he has denounced this shit so many times to the point where I'm just, like, cringing, just, like, as a viewer. But he's doing the right thing. I'm not saying he's not right by doing it. I'm making a point that the dude has done so much denouncing of this shit that it's even made me cringe, going, you don't have to keep denouncing this stuff, dude. You've made that point. But even as many times as he's made that point, these weirdos still don't care. They do not care. It doesn't matter what he says. They are going to build their fake narrative because their miserable lives need a villain, and he is their villain. And they're going to continue to do just that. And that's okay because he's winning, just like Ripa's winning, just like we all are winning. And all of these people just continue to be miserable.
Anybody to send death threats. People have free will, just like they're sent towards me. They can be sent towards anybody. People are assholes. There's asshole people everywhere. I can't control that. All I can do is say, be respectful. What do you think that means? Be respectful, but hey, send death threats. I'd appreciate it if you and anyone else trying to defame company would stop. You persist, we can take it from there. You know, you did something that people didn't like. I know firsthand when you do stuff like that, people will have a reaction. It's on the internet. So that's it. That's all I got to say about it. So didn't want to make a statement. Don't have to upload a video about it. But, you know, it's now to the point where you're slandering my company, and I want to. This is the first step.
If you would like to see the entire video that Star Wars Theory put out, I will link it in the top of the description. Just one more thing, I guess I should say. This video was made with my own opinion of the events that I saw taking place. Nobody asked me to make it. I just did it because I think this is relevant to see. There's a certain side of the fandom that are saying, "Oh, it's toxic. We gotta come together. We gotta have peace." And yet, it seems like that same side are the ones that are causing a lot of division. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hey, we got 4 episodes left of the Acolyte. You guys ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
This is a wild, wild Star Wars month, if you ask me. I'm out.
Look at that, man. Jay is up to 83,000 subscribers. This video has 219,000 views. Let's get this to 300,000 views and get him... Let's get him to 85,000 subs before the week starts next week. I think we could do it, peeps. I think we can do it. I'm very happy for Jay. And I'm happy for Lucasfilm for giving us the biggest piece of shit we've ever seen. And this is not going to slow down. We still have 4 episodes left. You got the star of the Acolyte bringing a cringe music video out that everyone has mocked and laughed at. You've got Wikipedia having a meltdown. You've got all types of stuff going on. And ultimately, it is unifying the Star Wars fandom. And I love it. I'm having more fun than I've had in a long time with Star Wars, mainly because I have fully accepted that Star Wars is dead, which I accepted that a long time ago, which is why I did not watch Book of Boba Fett or Ahsoka or really a lot of these series. But with this one, looking at the marketing, I was like, I have to watch this train wreck. Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant is the showrunner. And then you heard all of the comments made by the cast and the crew. And I knew it. I was like, this is going to be the worst thing ever. And it is. It's worse than The Last Jedi. It's worse than The Rise of Skywalker. Didn't see Mandalorian Season 3, but a lot of people said that was terrible as well. So, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for checking out this video. Shout out to Drunk3PO, and keep supporting him over on his channel because I love what he's got going on. I'm so happy for him. He's got his channel really rocking right now. So, let's get him to 100K, and I appreciate the support over here on Geeks and Gamers. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later.